Welcome to the 2026 FRC game, Rebuilt.
Happy kickoff!
Happy kickoff! This is Team Ri3D 1.0.
Rebuilt!
This year, the field is littered with game objects. You gotta make sure you design your robot and be careful that you don't get beached on them.
There are two bumps in the center of the field, and it doesn't seem to be much of a problem for the six-wheel drive Kitbot. However, if you're using a different type of drivetrain, you might consider if you're going to use the bump or the trench to get into the neutral zone.
This year's game involves climbing a ladder system. 2013 and 2022 FRC robots have wonderful examples that you should check out. Also, the 2024 and 2025 FTC robot actually has a vertical climb similar to that.
This is the FIRST Robotics Competition game where you have the option of climbing up during the autonomous mode, but remember, if you do that, you need to design a mechanism that lets you be able to come back down for the teleoperated period. A little bit of trivia, not the first time for FIRST Tech Challenge. They did it back in 2019 for Rover Ruckus.
Also, you're gonna have limited space with the multiple robots on there. 2018 and 2022 have good examples with FRC. One thing we wanted to point out is Team 2481 in 2022 had a really cool lift system, as you see here.
There's no limit to how many fuel you can hold in your robot at once, which is going to affect many design decisions, especially if you're either going over the bump or underneath the trench.
This year, we're playing with fuel.
I think that's the wrong fuel, Mike.
Oh, this is from 2017.
We're using a different spherical yellow object, this time made of foam. This year we're using a different spherical yellow object called fuel, made of foam, similar to the poof balls back in 2006, or the power cells in the 2020 game that never happened, but we all still might have those laying around. Big difference between those were both 7-inch foam balls, but the fuel is now a 6-inch, a little bit smaller than 6-inch, but you can still use those years as inspiration for picking up, indexing, and shooting designs. Back in 2017, it had something very similar to the Outpost, where you could insert fuel into the robot directly without having to pick it up from the ground.
The hub isn't active for 50 seconds of the match, so about 2/3 of it. So you're gonna have to think about what you wanna do as a strategy during that time.
One of the options while your hub is inactive is to go play some defense. While the animation never shows that an opposing alliance goes into the other alliance's zone to play defense while they're shooting into their hub, the game manual mentions that that is considered standard play.
Another thing you could think about doing is actually passing the fuel from the neutral zone to your alliance zone. Then you can come back and score it once this hub is active again.
And of course, the last thing you can do is pass fuel to the human player through the corral. And the game manual says the maximum amount that you can pass through fills up both the corral and the outpost. And then after that, any additional fuel has to be entered back into the field. But if you can get that maximum number of fuel ready for when your hub is active again, then you'll have the most opportunity to score points during that short time period.
We often talk about the mechanical design of the robot as a process, something that's meant to be iterative. You might start out in CAD, build a lightweight prototype, move on to building components, integrate them, and iterate on the design once you've had a chance to practice with it. I'm here to say that programming is the same way. What you don't want to get into is a situation in which you've basically completed the build of the robot and then you're handing it off to programmers and saying, just make it work. Instead, programming is a capability that you can build throughout the entire build season. I'll give you an example. In Autonomous this year, the 22nd Autonomous, there's a lot that you can do. And a lot of those areas of the field are marked by AprilTags. So, as an example, you could think about building capabilities related to AprilTags as an iterative process that builds throughout the season. You could start by just being able to identify an AprilTag, to know which one is sitting in front of your robot. Then, you can move on to localization, knowing where you are in space relative to that AprilTag. Then, you can start thinking about AprilTags that might appear in different lighting situations. Start testing out AprilTags that aren't just taped to a wall in your well-lit workspace, but in more challenging conditions, because you never quite know what the lighting's going to be until you walk in on event day. At each step, you're going to learn important things that will allow you to go into the integration of everything with really important advice on how to make the programming actually work with the design. It's going to save you some time, and you're not going to be super stressed right at the end trying to make everything work. And that can be the difference between a working robot and a great one.
The Kitbot this year looks really good. It can pick up from the ground, it can get fuel from the human player, it can shoot into the hub. FIRST has released a whole lot of documentation about how to build it, so go check out that website, and there's also videos on how to build it.
One thing they also included this year is an enhancement and iterations guide with ideas of ways that you can improve the Kitbot. One thing we noticed in our 2017 Steamworks build was that agitators are sometimes necessary when dealing with a large hopper such as the Kitbot's design this year. Sometimes the fuel will get stuck, and that will help get it out. It literally agitates it.
That wraps it up for Robot in 3 Days 2026. Good luck to all the teams out there building rapid robots and all the FIRST teams out there this season. Remember, read the manual, especially the parts that have to do with the penalties, as well as the ranking points.
Be sure to set a schedule and stick to it as much as you can. Sometimes things fall a little bit behind, but if you go too much into something, you're going to hurt yourself later on, and it's better to just simplify.
And not every robot has to do everything. Pick something and do it extremely well, best on the field.
Fail often, fail fast. That's our motto. So guys, good luck! Get rebuilt!